My next guest makes his return to the Fury FC cage on February 4th when he faces Lester Batres Jr. at Fury Challenger Series 11. He's the pride of Oklahoma. He is Tater McSpadden. How's it going today, Tater?
It's going absolutely marvelous. How are you?
Fantastic. I can't complain. It's going great on my end as well. So you kind of hit the scene, especially on like Twitter and everything, when you faced Bruce Whitehead. I think it was like a fight or two fights ago, I think.
Yeah.
One thing I kept seeing, though, wasn't even about the fight. It was your name. So just for the record, just to get it out of the fucking way, is your legal name Tater McSpadden?
Yes, sir. On my birth certificate and my ID.
Perfect. So
I had people messaging me, and they were like, "Yo, don't listen to that shit on Twitter." And I don't really get on Twitter much, so I was like, "What?" So I had to like download Twitter, and then I seen that like a couple people had like posted it, and there was a decent amount of traction on it. People were having fun with it.
Yeah, it just stood out. I mean, it helps marketing wise. I mean, there's no other Tater McSpadden anywhere in the world.
Yeah. It was funny. It was funny because all the, like, someone said I could see these two guys fight on a back road over a girl named Bobby Joe. There were some funny ones. They were cracking me up.
I just know that stood out. Yes, when you were my my radar. So I've been keeping track, and now February 4th you make your return to the promotion against an opponent you were scheduled for back in November. We kind of talked around that time about getting this situated back then. Things popped up. Can you just give a rundown of like what happened, what caused the delay, and so on?
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see I broke my hand a couple years ago, and it gives me fits every now and then. But my fight, right before that, it was like against Shaquem. My hand had just it was swollen, and it was just hurting like a bitch. So I was like, I'll just take some time off it. I won't like hit the bag too hard or go too hard on it. But then it was just like I couldn't grapple. I couldn't post on it. Like I was like starting my car in the morning and I couldn't even turn, or like opening a bottle. It was just hurting really bad. So I was like, I got to get an MRI and X-ray. Luckily, it wasn't broke or anything super serious, but it was just still screwed up from the last fight because Shaquem had a chin on him and I was cracking him with some shots. So I think it's just some like scar tissue damage. I can't really like you see my finger, can't really make a fist, but it's feeling good now. I just didn't use it for almost a month, just didn't really go hard on it, and it kind of went down. It was just super fresh after that fight. But
so
I wanted I was talking to Fury, and I was hoping that I could get that Lester fight in January or February. I'm glad he took it, considering it was like 2 weeks notice last time, and he was he's a high level opponent, and I just didn't really want to fight the dude with one hand. I was like, especially now as a pro, you don't want to, your fights matter a little bit more. So I didn't want to. I respected the guy enough to not fight the dude compromised.
Yeah, it ends up being his pro debut. Do you think the extra now 3 months is like an advantage, or is it kind of like now you've been focusing on one guy for too long?
I mean, anytime you get a little more time, I guess it's an advantage. But I mean, all these guys, they're doing the same shit when they fight me. They're closing their eyes and reaching for my legs as soon as possible. So it's not like basically anyone I fight, I have the same game plan or a very similar game plan because they're all trying to do the same thing. They don't really want to stay on the feet too long most of the time.
Awesome. And for this camp, I know I've seen photos of you and Tracy Reeder. Are you over at Clinch MMA, or were you training after this one?
Yeah, I live about an hour from Clinch. I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So I train a lot with them. I get some work up in Joplin with a couple guys. Basically everywhere is about an hour from me. So I get work with a handful of people, but my clinch guys are my main peeps.
How do you see this fight going with Lester? I mean, extra time, kind of probably are sick of his name, probably sick of waiting for this fight to happen. Any predictions
Well,
for this one?
so my on Tapology it shows I have like 6 or 7 fights or whatever, but I fought since I was 15. This is like my 27th fight, and I fought. I mean, my last two fights were against Bruce and Shaquem. And as an amateur, I fought some of the best Muay Thai guys and kickboxers nationally. So it's one of those things to where, a fight's a fight. I've been in there for so long, and I'm confident wherever it goes, however long it goes. I've kind of, I've been knocked out, I've been beat up, I've been taken down. So nothing really, nothing really worries me. I just get excited about being able to showcase a little bit more of my skills. And I feel like my last fight, I got to showcase a little more out of the tool bag. So I'm excited to show some new stuff this one.
Yeah, no, typology definitely lacks in the Muay Thai, especially amateur Muay Thai.
And they only
Um,
I love my Tapology being shitty, because like it only really shows my losses. So it looks like I have a horrible record, which I'm perfectly fine with, because it's hard to find. That's another reason I fought guys like Shaquem and Bruce Whitehead, and because and I think Lester has the same problem with his amateur experience. Not a lot of guys uh want to fight me. You know what I mean? Especially knowing uh, with my style, that like if you fight me, you will take massive damage and you will get hit with big shots. So, and I don't have the record and I don't have the experience as a pro to where like beating me really does anything. So I like my shitty Tapology because hopefully it like encourages them to take the.
let's pull back from the fight world a little bit. When I do my research, I always try to find things that like stand out about people. And you're basically like the Dos Equis person of MMA. You're probably one of the most interesting people outside of the fight area, though. Let's start with like what is it? I mean, let me see if I say it correctly. Is it garbanzo?
Dude, that I really don't have a nickname.
Mhm.
I yeah, I just Garbanzo's been like a little inside joke between me and my buddies, so I'll randomly put that.
And and you're using it at least on Instagram as your art page, clothing design, painting, and so on. What influences your art styles, and how long have you been an artist?
So as a kid, I was the art kid. I got into like comic books at a young age and got big into like art and painting and drawing and doing all that. And then I started doing Taekwondo when I was like 13, 14, and fell in love with that. And then eventually got into Muay Thai and had my first like Muay Thai fight at 15. So I took a big kind of hiatus from making art for a long time until kind of recently. But that's kind of why I got into fighting as well. It was always more of a creative expression or creative outlet for me rather than like, oh, I want to hurt people. It was always like I had the ability to paint a picture and make something in there. And I think you can tell in my fighting style that I'm a little bit more creative in there. And that stems kind of from me being an artist growing up and my whole life.
Awesome. And then the other one, you can tell by your shirt today, you have a fashionable sense as well. Obviously, you can probably see where I'm going with this one as well. Truly diverse vintage. You're picking in vintage shopping, basically. What got you into collecting vintage goods?
I grew up poor, so like we only we never really bought much stuff new. Everything was flea markets, yard sales, swap meets, that kind of thing. So I was always collecting old stuff, and I've always kind of had a passion for old things. And then once I got into like caring how I dress, like in high school and stuff, I started like going to thrift stores and looking for clothes because I couldn't really afford shit at the mall, couldn't afford like the new stuff. And then I got into old clothes, and it's just one of my little addictions, I guess. Hunting, digging in old houses and random shit to find old clothes.
I was going through that today, and like even like some things that like geek me out. Like I saw like an MF Doom skateboard, and like you go from all the clothing and like an MF Doom skateboard. So you're not just one sided either. Like you're all around, and you kind of have an eye for valuable items at some point as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I collected like GI Joes and comic books, so I was really big into like 80s GI Joes and old pulp culture stuff, action figures, anything like that. So I still kind of pick up that stuff. MF Doom skateboard's sick though. I think someone hand painted that. Like I don't think it was like licensed. It has a guy's name and a date, but it's a badass one.
That was dope. And then speaking of staying in that area of music as well, another one that popped up when I was doing my research is I got a playlist on like YouTube. I guess you have a YouTube account with like a music playlist. I think it's called like Dope Songs or something like that. And Locksmith. I've never seen anyone else even know who Locksmith is.
Listen, this is the craziest story. So when I was like 15, 16, I was obsessed with Locksmith, right? So I was fighting in Phoenix out there for a Muay Thai title, and I had just lost the fight. I was kind of bummed, and I was at In-N-Out, and I was getting a burger, and I turn around, and Locksmith is just right behind me.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, holy shit, dude, you're Locksmith. And it was just so random. It was like God sprinkling in a nice little make me feel better after that loss. You know who Brother Ali is?
Yep.
Dude, I met him when I fought in Iowa, and I turned around and I seen him, and I was like, there is no way in hell that Brother Ali is at this Muay Thai fight. And I got to meet him too. It was funny. Super funny.
So, I mean, I think my entire morning so far has been kind of just hitting play on that list and letting it play through. What are you listening to lately? Like, what's like if I gave you like the Spotify or the aux cord, what are you putting on?
That playlist is from when I was like 16, but I listen to a lot of like Tizo Touchdown. I like a lot of old like classic country, like Marty Robbins, John Prine. What else I've been listening to now? And I got a lot of buddies that make music out here, so I listen to a lot of their stuff. Zayden Kirby, Aiden, a bunch of my buddies' stuff, and just random. I love Zach Bryan and Tyler Childers and that whole range of country. Yeah, a little bit of mix, random stuff like that.
Awesome. And this is the part where I kind of just give you the microphone. Usually, sponsor shout outs, your social media, friends, family, training partners, whoever you want to shout out. The mic's all yours to kind of do so.
Well, Tracy forgot me the first time he gave the shout outs. So I'll first say Tracy Reeder, my dear beloved friend. Ryan Hoover, all the guys at Clinch. We got a lot of amateur dudes there right now that are good bodies, and it's a good crowd out there. Michael Hayes, he's been my coach since I was 15. He was he cornered me my first fight, and he's cornering me this one. Yeah, just everybody I train with. I don't have I have a handful of sponsors. Yeah, all my supporters know who they are. I'm not going to take the time to name them. I'm kind of got a big group of friends and people that support me. I'm blessed out here. So I love all them and love everybody.
Awesome. So February 4th, Fury FC Challenger Series, you versus Lester Batres Jr. Fight that people have been waiting for since November. Best of skill. I look forward to seeing it. We'll regroup again before the next fight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.